why he feels Meltology could be fake. No disrespect to Wise Up. I like Wise Up. He's brought a lot to the table, including the petrification theory, where a lot of petrified wood, or buildings made of petrified wood, or made of wood that got petrified, seems to be a thing. I've looked that up, and as far as I can tell, there does seem to be some sort of sound theoretical evidence for that. For example, rapid petrification of wood and unexpected confirmation of creationist research. I'm not necessarily into creationism, but I'm pretty much open-minded to it. So it just shows that it is possible. If you combine a flood with acid effectively, you can petrify wood very rapidly. So we're just going to go back to combining the melted cities idea, the circuit board cities. So that the theory is that the world was a series of what we call smart cities and smart roads that looked effectively like a circuit board, and that something went wrong. Either the flood happened and everything melted down, or things melted down causing a lot of heat, which caused the flood, one way or the other. We went from a world of circuit board cities, or perhaps more accurately to call them smart cities. That seems to be the way that we're calling them now. Smart cities and smart roads, which I've mentioned in previous videos. And one of the big sticking points to Meltology was, and it is to Wise Up, he throws a couple of just crazy pieces of evidence where he's found some problems with the red brick theory. I had problems with the red brick theory too, but I think Tartaria Meltology guy, although also quite stuck in his view of that everything is red brick, he's kind of proven it beyond a doubt to me that we do live in a world that has been melted. So I guess it's just how. So Wise Up, if you're listening to this, which you may be, firstly, respect, no disrespect intended, but you can't just throw up a couple of evidences of what you think's plasticine and a cake and then a ludicrous wall that does look like it's been touched up in the modern age. Definitely, this doesn't refute the thousands of pictures that the Meltologists have put up and the hundreds of hours. And you've got to stop acting like other people's theories are a threat to you or your theory. And I just think you should just take a pause and just not come out completely refuting something before you've done the research, because this just undermines you, and you shouldn't be undermined because you brought a lot to the table. So you claimed that there was no way of melting a brick, and a blowtorch would, you would need evidence. Well, here we go, melting a brick with a carbon arc welder, uploaded by Levent Gully, or Gull, how do you pronounce that? You can quite plainly see if this is a red brick. It says it is. I don't see any reason why I would just argue with that. You can quite easily see what looks like melting happening. So this would need to be confirmed, but on first view, you must agree with me, it looks like a brick being melted. In the description of Wise Up's video, which is here, someone pointed me to that. There's some very good comments here by people that say that you can melt brick using this Chris Carey comment, I think it is. Some kind of water gas, H2O2, and mentions oxygen, hydrogen, and that water has more than 3 solid states. And you have Brown's gas water. So I really liked that theory. If that's true, again, this would have to be looked into. Wise Up, you've got some great comments in your channel, so your channel's awesome. I don't mind trashing John Levy. I trash him a bit. The guy just seems like he's just right, I don't know, what was he doing? He just seems to be, he's turned into a caricature of John Levi. He seems like a nice enough guy, but I like his pictures, his videos of his dog. But yeah, just some of these channels, they seem to just get caught up in their hype a little bit too much. Hopefully that's something that we can all avoid. I can't find the exact comment that mentioned it. I'm just scrolling down the comments now. But on one of the comments it did mention to Google melting a brick with a carbon arc welder. So whoever said that, shout out to that, because I found that video that you were talking about, and it's that one there. And I think this could be the proof we're looking for. That whatever the X factor event was, that it could cause the meltology effects that we see. And it doesn't mean that mudflood didn't happen, because in places like London, it doesn't look like the buildings were melted. It looks like they're mud flooded. So, and then if you look at a map of America, you do have what looks like electrical discharge events on a massive scale, especially on this west coast. And on the east, as you go east and central, it looks like remnants of a flood, or that the mountains have melted off into the sort of the central plains. And to the east coast, this all looks flat, doesn't it, in the central area and towards the east. But then the west side looks like it's mountainous and has melted. And it looks like it's had these electric discharge events. And then you've got stories that California used to be an island, which it's not now. So did the mountains melt and join California back up to the mainland? Was there that event that mentioned in the CIA documents where it says there's 1,000 miles an hour winds? What did happen? What happened to cause this event here that looks like the Leeward Isles and Barbados, and these islands look like they're remnants of a volcanoes going off or something? It's difficult to tell. South America has a similar kind of thing with mountains on the west side and what looks like more flat plains that look, I mean, if we're talking about the carbon-14 from melted buildings, then it looks like there's still a lot of carbon-14 that the jungles are using, whereas in America and Africa, I mean, does Africa have the same thing? Does Africa have these mountains on the west, and then on the east and centrally it's less mountainous? I don't think so. Africa may be a different story. But this desert area definitely looks like this desertification. It looks like it possibly is hiding, or the result of some sort of meltdown. But it's really difficult to tell. Was it the second sun? Was it a plasma discharge? Was it the circuit board cities melting down? Whatever it has, it seems to have happened on a giant scale, and seems to have happened to Australia as well. It just might have happened on even, maybe if you're looking at Australia and Sahara Desert and Africa, the fact that it's so hard to actually see the past, maybe it just melted down completely. Maybe it melted down really well, and we're just left with desert, and it's difficult to tell. That could be an idea. Maybe in Europe it didn't melt down as much, and maybe we just got affected by mud floods and earthquakes. It's really difficult to tell. I don't think anyone's really yet come up with the story. But you just cannot discount Meltology, I'm afraid. Not yet, anyway. And all this nonsense about you are a non, or whatever his name is, he just came together and did a good documentary of a lot of other people's work. And I don't think we should be trying to claim work as, this is my theory, that's the history's history. It just is what it is. We're all trying to find it out. It doesn't really matter who found out what, does it? It's people put work in. We're all trying to put work in. This Scandinavian area looks similar. Does it have the mountains on the west and then flat plains? Is that another evidence that maybe there was massive meltdowns on this? We see that same kind of electrical discharge effect here. Someone should share a video in the comments of wood, or what looks like when you cause an electrical discharge across wood and you get these same effects here. I thought they were called Liechtenstein effects, but that's the wrong word. I still haven't happened upon what the correct word is for that. But I mean, are these fjords in Scandinavia? Are they all the result? Were these the Nordic super race? Were they based here? Certainly looks like that could be the case. Did this all melt down and then cause a big flood in the North Sea, and that got rid of Doggerland and flood Scotland and flood this side of the UK? Difficult to tell. There's definitely flooding happened in Amsterdam, as I pointed out in the video before, where it certainly looks like the real story of the lowlands and Holland has not really been told properly. We kind of ignore that, don't we, that they managed this gigantic building project to reclaim the sea on a huge scale. We seem to just brush over that quite easily. So I'll go back to this bit here. But yeah, just to recap. So we've got the idea of circuit board cities, which seem to be a thing in the modern day. We seem to be catching up with that. With smart cities and smart roads, the M4 in the UK is turning into a smart road. And just the overview of cities, when you see them from above, they look like circuit boards, and they really do look like circuit boards that have melted down. Places like Turkey, it's pretty obvious. It looks like they've been melted down, so then it's a case of, well, can you melt rock? Can you melt brick? Well, yes you can, in certain circumstances. Can you get rapid petrification? Well, yes you can. So I think we just need to pull together as a team. I've got to just shout out these guys, David Carrico and his young dude, I can't remember the other guy's name. But now you see TV, they kind of bring the religious aspect to it, but these guys are open to flat earth. Pretty sure they'd be open to Meltology, they're open to Tartaria. Definitely worth a check. This historical analysis that these guys do of the Bible is fascinating. It's really, really fascinating. Just last comment on this whole argument of Tartaria, and does it mean barbarians, and is it the wrong name? Was it Atlantis? Was it the Nephilim? It doesn't really matter, does it? It's just names and labels, and people are just getting too het up on that. We need to avoid being divided. So I'll just leave you with the brick melting down. And yeah, peace out, y'all. Let's increase the peace. And yeah, shout out to Paul Kirk. I find it difficult to watch you, dude. I don't know what it is. It's just your Essex boy manner. No big disrespect, but the whole Essex boy thing it's tough to take. I think I got bullied a lot by Essex boys when I was younger, so I just find it tough to take, but I do really respect what you do and the primary evidence you bring to the table, and the way you think, dude. The way you think's really cool. So shout out.